Good evening and welcome to the Business Day. I'm Vashan Brown. Opposition spokesman on energy Philip Paulwell is reiterating his demand for the government to remove the portion of the fuel tax that was imposed to pay for an oil hedge. TVJ's Andrew Laidley has more.
Gas prices at record high and motorists crying for relief at the pumps. But the opposition spokesman on energy Philip Paulwell upped the ante on the government to do something.
We are saying for a general review of the overall taxation on fuel, but very importantly, this one, which is really a robbery of the Jamaican people, should be dealt with immediately. So this money should be given back to the people. It will offset the price, somewhere about $7 to $10 per litre. But that's a significant amount for the taxi man who use 300 litres per week and so on and so forth.
Just over $50 of the price of every litre of gasoline is taxes alone. $7 of that amount is the tax imposed in 2015 to pay for the oil hedge. Mr. Paulwell wants that $7 tax to be removed because the hedge is no longer in place.
It is technical for the Jamaican people to understand, so let me just break it down. The government of Jamaica, especially since 2016, not especially, but also since 2016, has imposed tremendous taxation on fuel. The PAC, we got the information 3 weeks ago, that is 46%. It is closer to 50% by my reckoning.
46% per litre?
Yes, of taxation that the Jamaican consumer pays.
Meanwhile, Mr. Paulwell says as the Jamaican dollar continues to slide, he expects fuel prices to continue to rise, making it more difficult for Jamaicans to afford to live.
People are pricing now at 140, at 145 to 1, and people are making purchases for Christmas. So I anticipate that those inflation rates are going to skyrocket because fuel is such a major component. It affects everything else. It affects everything else.
For the Business Day, I'm Andrew Laidley.
And Mr. Paulwell was speaking this morning on RJR's and the JNN's hotline interface. And in a release a short while ago, General Manager of Petrojam Winston Watson said the government has no control over fuel prices. The release from the Office of the Prime Minister also said the local prices are based on the price for which fuel is purchased on the international market. The release said those prices are adjusted weekly. Mr. Watson pointed out that the movement this week can be attributed primarily to two factors: international political issues and the annual high peak summer travel season across the world. And speaking of oil, crude prices settled lower today. Oil for delivery in September is down 16 cents to settle at $67.66 a barrel. Managing Director of the Jamaica Stock Exchange, JC Marlene Street Forest, is reporting that Mayberry Jamaican Equities' initial public offering has increased the JC main market capitalization to $1.19 trillion. She also notes that the overall market capitalization went up $1.25 trillion. The listing also increased the number of companies on the JC to 74 and the total number of securities to 107. Mayberry Jamaican Equities raised $908 million from the IPO. Currency trading now. The Jamaican dollar continued to slide against its U.S. counterpart today. The American currency edged up by 9 cents to close the day at $135.53. The Canadian dollar, however, traded lower, settling at $105.14. The pound sterling sold for $174.78, while the euro closed the day at $162.18 on average. The JC Index gained 108 points today, while the Junior Index gained 8 points. Stocks posting gains today include 1834 Investments, Access Financial Services, C2W Music, Express Catering, Fosrich, Grace Kennedy, Jamaica Brawlers, and Lasco Distributors. On the losing side were CAC 2000, Siboney, Derrimon Trading, Elite Diagnostic, Jamaica Producers, Kingston Wharves, Lasco Manufacturing, Mayberry Jamaican Equities, and NCB Financial Group. And that's the Business Day. I'm Vashan Brown. Good evening.